In this video, I'm going to go ahead and cover Optic versus Cloud9 and what seems to be a huge upset in Cloud9 upsetting the world champions in Optics, and it's also some of the most unique ways I've seen Valorant played, and that starts from the buy screen. And I know that sounds weird, but let me explain what I mean by that. So it all starts in the very first round where Cloud9 are attacking, they end up losing the round, but they get the bomb down and they kill 4 people on the opposing side of Optic, right? And as a result of this, they have money for one Vandal. They have 2,900 on Zeppa. And this is where it gets a bit weird, because most of the time, when a team kills 4 people and they get the bomb down on attack, they'll force right back and buy Spectres with light shields versus Spectres and heavy shields, right? But there's still a bit of a disadvantage there when you force back, since they have full armor. But Cloud9 take a very unique approach in that of actually buying Leaf, a full Vandal, and Zeppa has no utility at all. He only has his innate rechargeable utility that he has, and then Leaf goes ahead and buys full armor. So now what that means is, think about it. If Leaf gets an isolated 1v1, he has the favorable matchup in any case, right? Because they have Spectres and Bulldogs, and he has a Vandal, right, with full armor. So as a result of this, let's go ahead and take a look at Cloud9 and what they decide to do here. So it looks like they go ahead and default at the start just to have information on B main, but you'll see that Leaf takes a very aggro position. He wants to go ahead and try and look for fights and get this information, and at the same time, Optic take this orb here, and what that means is basically that C9 know who's here based on who takes the orb. If you didn't know what this means, basically, if someone's taking an orb and you hit tab, you can see the number go up without actually physically seeing them when they take the orb. So they know that KO's there, and that slight information is very important because it tells them like, hey, we can play anti-flash here, KO's here on A. So whoever's scaling with him has that information. So that's very important. I just don't want to overlook that, okay? So let's go ahead and see C9 actually creep up onto this A site with the Vandal, and see how they're taking this favorable matchup of like, and to give you like a sports analogy, if you guys do play basketball, it's like having like a shorter player like have a matchup versus like a taller player, right? A Spectre versus a Vandal. So you'll see Leaf get this kill, and you'll see that C9 are pushing onto the site. Even though Crashies is like lobbing these shock darts over Nest and having Sage slow orb, they're comboing utility, which is very good to try and delay this plant. It doesn't really do anything except like buy, you know, the time for like the rotates, but Marv is rotating a bit late anyway, and Ye's like taking his time as well. They do end up getting the bomb down, and FNS gets this timing where he only gets 1. And now why this is super crucial is because now Ye is actually full sprinting through mid. If you go ahead and look at the minimap, Ye is full sprinting through mid. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. And that makes it so Viper hears this and punishes him for it. And now why that's imperative to C9's success here is because now Curry, which is weird, you know, my name's Curry, his name's Curry, it can get kind of confusing, but Curry can go ahead and play for lineups now, and he can go ahead and play for these snake bites, right? So as you will see here, there's one molly right now on the bomb. So that's another, those mollies last for 5.5 seconds, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play out the audios. The casters can be a little bit distracting, but as you can see, the bomb is in a stage where it's a bit like they're running a bit low on time right now. So he has a second molly ready as well, which makes it so that's another 5.5 seconds of stall, right? Not only that, but they have recovered that Vandal, and they're just juggling it from whoever dies. And again, Vanity, even though he has no armor, is favored to win this, right? So they go ahead, they get a gun, they throw the gun back, the Vandal back, they get a Bulldog, and they carry those guns over to the next round. But that was a very unique way of playing these kind of like, instead of, they didn't eco, they didn't force back, they kind of juggled a hero rifle, and I think that's something that you might see more of when, you know, someone does have that money to go ahead and you know, get that buy. But it does require, you know, 3 kills or something like that, so it's very niche, but I really did like the way that Cloud9 played this round. So let's go ahead and take a look at another round. So this round's a bit crazy because there are a lot of calculated risks that actually pay off. But before we get into that, let's talk about Cloud9's setup here on the attack side and kind of analyze what each position means on the map and why they're there, right? So they have Viper towards B, just in case they try and make an aggressive play towards B main or use any utility there, so they have the information that who's towards B. They have B main control, right? They have Sage in mid here to go ahead and break the Sova drone, break the dart, as well as having her go on top of this box on mid. And the reason why that's super important, that you can only see in the minimap since you won't see it from the spectators, but they just want this in case Optic EA decides to go ahead and walk down tube with an op. She'll have this off angle to go ahead and deal with him, or have like a less likely chance to die to him while giving that information to the rest of their team, right? So it's a very good position that they have here for their default. But as you will see, Optic decide to go ahead and wall off B main. They have B main control, so they're more free to go ahead and hover more general positions towards the mid side. At the same time, you'll see Sova go ahead and drone mid. Optic's Sova go ahead and drone mid. And as a result of this, I think Sage does get spotted, but she goes towards the A side. And now this is something I want to highlight. Marv got the orb on Viper here, and this is one of those tendencies that only analysts and coaches will like really pick up. But whenever he gets his orb here, usually they always fall off, as most teams do. And Marv has this tendency where he always goes to Rafters and has a Viper ult ready for Rafters, right? And a lot of Vipers have this Viper ult ready because it's a good ult to have for the entirety of backside and front 410. So it kind of stops and delays the plant. If they go ahead and do that, he has a good position to stop the plant, right? And he can snake bite to buy time. It's a good position to have, but in response to this, you'll see Leaf go with no cares given, Mission Impossible style, into their nest. And this is good because he has he can give the information that, hey, there's someone jump peeking Rafters. There are two people Rafters. He can hear this, right? Since they're jumping up and down. So it's a good position for him to have, as well as being able to catch off anyone who peeks through screens, who tries to go ahead and help whoever's coming in, right? And as a result of this, you'll see that C9 are still pressuring the A site to try and get someone to peek from screens. And at the same time, Curry on Viper in mid here is walking up to, again, build even more pressure so they can keep only 3 people towards this site. Because if he has this pressure, he breaks this trip, then they have to worry about mid. So they can't just all rotate towards A, so they still can have like an even man advantage here. Leaf does get the kill. I'm going to rewind a little bit here. Leaf does get the kill on Crashies and Screen. And then he fakes by taking the zipline full sprint so they can hear him taking the zipline. And then he drops off, and then he goes back slowly into nest. So they can't hear him. He's being very sneaky. And then C9 decide to go ahead and leave. Now, at the same time, Curry does get picked off in kitchen, but his job here is done. He breaks the trip. He gets the information that Sage is still towards mid. And then C9 are on the verge of leaving A anyway. Now, at the same time, you'll see that since Leaf is here in Nest, he knows that Viper is still here since the ult is up, but he hears one leaving towards B. So as a result of this, they have the information that, hey, one left A. That means there's only one person towards A, most likely, and that being the Viper, right? So he heard KO full sprint out. He's still in Nest. They don't have this position. Viper drops the ult to pretend. The time didn't run out. She pretends that like she's left the A site, right? And as a result of this, you'll see that Leaf gets the timing, gets the kill, and now they have the information that KO's in screens, but they're already scaled up. They have the entirety of site, and now in response to this, they can go ahead and plant the bomb, and they can go ahead and play the bomb now too. Okay, so this was a very good round played on C9's part. This is another one of those rounds where I want to go ahead and stress the importance of these deep positions from an attacker's point of view. So what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and take a look at Leaf here on Chamber, walking up tube and breaking this chamber trap in kitchen, right? So as a result of this, look at the minimap and look at what you see immediately. You'll see that Leaf draws the attention of 2 people. Not only that, if they decide not to push him or not to deal with him or check for info to see if he's still there, he can hear them through Boiler. He can hear all of mid, he can hear all of orange. This is a super good position to plant someone in, since they have that constant information to give to his team. Not only that, but since he's drawing this much attention from the defenders, right, from Optic, if C9 decide to go ahead and hit the B site right now, he has their attention. Viper doesn't have any help alone here outside of B main. Knowing this, you'll see that Marv is in this position in B main, and he's like, oh, there's so much pressure in mid right now that my teammates can't help me. I'm going to go ahead and back off. Just off of this pressure, they go ahead and get the site and they're able to execute the B site. Now, the other thing I want to go ahead and highlight is this very unique wall that they do. Obviously, Sage is going to go ahead and wall off the plant, but they boost Zeppa up onto the top side of B. And why this is very crucial is because think about the pressure that Leaf had in Kitchen prior. He goes ahead and relocates and walks out, but this kind of tells you that most likely, not 100%, no one's on the top of site. Because if they were, they could have swung out of halls, they would have checked for information, but it's still a possibility that there could be someone on top of site, but it's a bit, it's more unlikely. So knowing this, C9 go ahead and do this set play, I guess you could call it, where Zeppa wants to go ahead and get walled up. He takes that. He's kind of hidden by the Viper wall, but he gets boosted up and he gets one kill. He immediately drops down, gets a second kill, backs off, and now they're playing in their Viper ult. So this is huge. This is a very hard retake for Optic right now. They do end up killing Zeppa here, but now they have a Viper ult and they have a ton of pressure in mid, right? With Chamber still being alive with an op, so he can see the cross if they go ahead and push them yellow, right? So this is a very good position to be in right now for the side of Cloud9. So if the Viper wall goes down, and then you'll see Leaf get this kill on KO, and now it's a 1v3 for Optic, where FNS is trying to go ahead and deal with Curry here. Even if he does kill Curry here, this is going to be a very, very uphill battle for the side of Optic. So strategically well played by Cloud9. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you want to see more videos of me analyzing pro play, please go ahead and leave a like and comment for the YouTube algorithm, and remember to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.